to turn it over to Tracy and Claire again to go over a couple more things, and then we're going to wrap up with some question and answer, and make sure we have some information, and we can all kind of talk when we get out the door. Before we do that, I want to mention my staff who worked so hard with Tracy and with Beth to put this on tonight. My staff who's here, kind of in the back. Tino Capobianco, who's back there somewhere. Drew Phelan, my district director, who you've seen at the check-in table. My chief of staff, Michael Lund. Make sure you touch base with them on the way out. They can get you all the information. We'll make sure we get everybody on the email list going forward. So without further ado, somebody who's worked so hard to put this night together and has worked so hard with Cox, please welcome Tracy Manzel.
I just want to point everybody towards the flyer that you should have been passed about our fundraiser. And if you didn't get one, there'll be some on that table. I just wanted people to understand. I just want people to understand how important this is while the project is being, as they're repositioning themselves potentially for the next project. This is probably the most effective we can be as citizens, is to get some baseline testing in place, which Paul was alluding to. Again, the liability, if we can get out front and assure that the testing happens, even though we did pass presentation bylaws in Rhode, which requires this of them, if they are able to sidestep our legislation for any reason, we'll have that baseline testing in place. So I just want people to understand it's incredibly important. It's expensive. I'm proud to say the CARTs received grant monies for this baseline testing from the New England Grassroots Environmental Fund. And that'll get us started. It's a good jump start for us, but we're going to need much more backing. And there's so the flyers do explain how to donate. So please do. And I'm going to turn this over to Claire. Oh, you got it. Yeah.
All right. So I just wanted to do a time check. It's 8:20, and I promised you we would end on time. Which means if you have a question, you should definitely write it down because we're not going to get through most of them.
Just a quick announcement. I'm so sorry. Rehoboth police are outside. If anybody's parked on the street, they've gotten some complaints. So if you're on the street, you can just move your car now. Otherwise, they're talking about the So please.
That is an important announcement.
Just the ones
on the street. Just on the street. All right. Thank you, Senator. That's important. All right, so definitely write down your questions. If you want to have questions, you can hand them up, and we'll start to review them right now. I have one that I want to kick us off with, and this question is Maybe for Senator O'Connor, I have a question for you. Yeah, so my question, as folks are handing up, is if people want to get in touch with their elected official, what's the best way? Is it a petition? Is it a phone call? Is it a visit? Is it a handwritten letter? What do you recommend?
We have folks from the FRAX group down in the Fort River Basin come in all the time to our office. You pop into the office and you're from the district, whether you see a state representative, state senator, they should see you. I always try and make it when I'm over at the state house or down in the district office hours. Make sure you look at the newspapers to see when the local office hours are. If you want to get a direct face meeting with the representative or senator. But other than that, the best way to do it is to write a handwritten letter. Handwritten letters go a long way. I write them all the time to constituents when it's their birthday or something goes on. It means a lot more because anyone can send a form email, anyone can print something out. But if you take the time to actually write it by hand, I know that it means a lot to me to see somebody take that effort about an issue, and it definitely highlights the importance of it to me, at least.
Thank you. Other questions? Do you have a question about it? I have a million. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. Wendy?
I don't really have a question. I have a statement. I don't have questions because unfortunately I know more than I care to. I'm from South Coast Neighbors United, Wendy Grasha. We're fighting the Acushnet Connector portion of Access Northeast. And I actually just want to thank all of the leaders for their work, everything that they've done. It means the world to us. And I also want to thank Lisa because I never see a union representative show up at any of these events on the right side. And as a former member of CWA 1400, IBW 2322, and a current member of AFSCME Council 93, it means everything to me, union, family, to see you here on the right side. Thank you.
From the crowd. So the question is, are universities, colleges, and high schools doing enough for training for green jobs? How can governments help the educational institutions do this?
I think that, unfortunately, in the past few years, we talk about this often because there's been such a downturn in people joining the trades. I think that we've focused so long on pushing our kids to go to college, to go into white-collar jobs, things like that. I know my parents were, kind of baby boomer age, and they always pushed me to go to college. It was all about college. That's how I was going to do well if I went to college. So there's been such a turn from the trades, and a lot of these green energy jobs are trade-related, especially within the energy fields, because you have to be a licensed electrician. For solar, to install any sort of solar, from those racks and rails that you see all the way to the panels and the final connections, that is all done by licensed electricians. And we actually fought very hard for that right to be able to do that work. And it's the same with the wind turbines, because they're all we're all electrical conductors. They're all, produce energy in some way. So all that's licensed work. So a lot of that is trade work. So we ourselves, we try to develop programs with the local high schools and colleges as well. We go into all the VOTEC schools throughout the state of Massachusetts, and we offer scholarships. We offer 5 scholarships to every VOTEC school, which is worth well over $35,000 per year. We do not charge any of our students to go to school at our Joint Apprenticeship Training Center. It is completely free. The only thing that they pay for are their books, and they only pay for those their first year. So that can be somewhat attractive to people as well. We also, one of the things we also try very hard to do is to get women and minorities in the trade. We actually have the highest number of all trades across the board of members. So we have 25% of our membership is either women or minorities or veterans. Veterans is another area where we try very hard to get our veterans that come home into a program that might not otherwise have a trade if they decide to leave the military. So that's some of the other things we do. We do a Women's in Trade conference. We actually just added 2 more into our cycle, so we now do 4 throughout the year. We host them at our hall as well as at other satellite sites. We're doing a new one like up in Springfield to try to get folks, women out there. They call it Girls in the Trades, but I refuse to call it Girls in the Trades, so I call it Women in the Trades. They say it's girls because it's high school age girls that they're trying to target, but whatever, that's another story for another day. So anyways, so we do things like that to try to bring people into the trades. We do a Building Pathways program. We actually do it with the city of Boston, and we focus on urban areas and minorities to bring minorities into the trades as well, and they get kind of an accelerated path right into our program. We also work with Wentworth Technical Institute, and with them we have a program where after our folks graduate from our 5-year program, they can go on to Wentworth to earn a bachelor's or an associate's degree at a very discounted rate. So we try to do those types of things and to kind of bring people into the trades and create more jobs there.
Thank you so much. So I know we're running out of time, and one thing we're going to end with a call to action to let you know how you can get involved. I want to share that earlier this year I got to go to a conference, a national conference around different communities that are fighting pipelines. And people said to me, "Oh my God, you're from Massachusetts. How are you guys doing that? You're winning. You've heard about it. And basically my answer was, we organize, we work with our elected officials, we don't give up, all right? And that is why we're winning, and people know it. So I want to invite Beth Rodeo from No Sharing Gas Pipeline to tell you how you can get involved either in really small ways if your life is really busy, and also other ways. There's lots of different levels. Please welcome Beth to close us with you.
Claire said, I am Beth, I'm from No Sharing Gas Pipeline, and I'm also a member of Others Up Front, including on the pipeline task force there. Before I talk briefly about your call to action, I want to thank some people here, especially our new State Senator Hall Feeny, who we were at a Sharing Gas Pipeline meeting. He said he'd come, and Tracy was like, come to Rhode, and he was like, you got it. And I want to thank Representative Steve Howitt, who, again, my understanding is Tracy called him, and he said, sure, I'll be there, first thing. Senator Jeanne Eldridge and Senator Patrick O'Connor for speaking to us about their bills. Attleboro Mayor Paul Rhode for also speaking about his bills, even though he isn't in the legislature anymore. I want to thank Lisa Podgorski from Local 103 for coming out to talk with us. And I understand there are some other people here in the audience. Rehoboth Select Board Chair Skip Vadnais, I hope I said that right. Rehoboth Select Board Vice Chair Gerald Schwal. Rehoboth Town Clerk Laura Schwal. Rehoboth Democratic Town Committee Chair Paul Jakes. The Rehoboth Police for that excellent parking help, including the updates and notifications. Attleboro City Council Member Julie Hall. The Carts, obviously, for organizing and having this great turnout tonight. No Sharing Gas Pipeline for being here. Claire for being our MC, and Kathy from StopNet for that great presentation, which it's a lot of information, and she always does a great job. So I want to draw your attention to something. I was making phone calls at this event, and my 7-year-old son started drawing this. And it says, you probably can't see it really well, but at the top it says Clean Energy Now. And under the now it says, not later, on time, with help. Yeah. And I know he was listening to me because it's the help we have here tonight from CARPS and all the citizens and everybody here, and from the senators and representatives and other elected officials that make a big difference in that proactive kind of thing we're talking about today. And the last way that you can help tonight, in addition to coming out on Thursday in January, is to sign the postcards that we've distributed to you, talking about some of the legislation, including having the DPU held accountable and having our input in the DPU, and preventing any further schemes to fund a pipeline through our rates. And also, we've given you a phone script. You can call those 2 numbers to the TUE committee and just ask them to help move these bills along. It sounds like things are going to get maybe put into an omnibus bill, but what we want is these good bills in there. So I really hope you go home and you do that, and tell a friend, and keep calling your legislators, keep writing those handwritten letters, but not me because my handwriting is horrible. So thank you for coming, and good night.